this episode, how to pour a bottle-conditioned homebrew.
LULZ and BREWS. Homebrewed improv.
Perhaps one of your friends, maybe Frank and I, hand you a beer and they're like, "Hey, check out my really cool homebrew. It's good beer." And you're like, "Oh man, I want to drink this beer." But there are a few very important things to know when being handed a homebrew. Check it. The anatomy of a homebrew beer. A couple of things that are of importance is this beer, the way it is carbonated, is we actually have priming sugar, which is cornstarch, essentially that gets mixed in with the beer. That cornstarch wakes the yeast back up. See, the yeast has eaten all the sugar in the malt, right? That's what's created the alcohol. But that gives you a flat beer. And so the sugar, when it is in this bottle, the yeast starts to eat it. And so you get a little tiny bit of alcohol, but more importantly, you get carbon dioxide. Because this bottle is sealed, when the yeast create that carbon dioxide, the sealed bottle creates a pressure which forces the CO2 into solution. It forces it into the liquid. Thus you get carbonation. Well, Mike, that's all fine and good, but why does that matter when I'm drinking a homebrew? Here's why it matters. So if you notice in our carboy, there's a layer of sludge about this thick. That is the yeast cake. That's all of the yeast that has grown, along with all the stuff that's settled out of the beer, and that's sitting at the bottom. You don't want to drink that. It tastes bad, okay? It also has a tendency to upset your digestive system. And if you've ever had an upset digestive system from homebrew, you know exactly what I'm talking about, and you don't want to... So you have a beer glass. This is water. I'm going to use an example. So a very common way of pouring a beer is just to take it and to do this with it. See the chugs up here? That's bad. What's happening is that chug is sloshing the yeast cake off of the bottom of this bottle of beer. Precisely what we don't want. So instead we're going to pour the beer a little bit differently. I'm going to show you how. The other thing you don't want to do is take this and do one of these. Slosh the beer back or down. Sloshing it back, it's going to mix up all that yeast. You don't want that. That's bad. I've refilled my beer bottle, and the way to do this is you want to pour very slowly at first until the liquid breaks through the top, and then you continue to pour. You can pour a little bit quicker. Now if you notice, I'm also pouring down the middle of the glass. See all the bubbles? That's what would be releasing the carbonation if there were beer in this bottle. And then there's just a little bit of liquid left. That is going to have yeast in it. You will also be able to look down the bottom of the bottle and you'll see yeast at the bottom as well. Leave all of that behind. That's what you don't want. This would be your beer. I am now going to reverse this shot, and I'm going to show you what the bottle looks like as I'm pouring it so you can see through the glass and see really what's going on. First, we're going to do this with water. So you can see where the air bubble is up here. Watch that line. Okay, don't pour beer all over the floor. See that? Nice consistent line. You can pour a little bit quicker now. And then you get down to about there. See that little bit of liquid still left in the neck? That's what you want to leave behind, about that much. And there will be your full beer. Now with a real beer, let's see if I can manage to do this and not make a mess. See how that carbonation's getting released? Oh yeah, now this will happen. Your head will advance faster than you can pour your beer. That's okay. Just let this settle, enjoy your beer, and then pour this a little bit in when you're done. Or grab a second smaller glass See that little bit of beer I left behind? And then, hopefully, see all that crud down at the bottom? That is the yeast cake. That's what you don't want to be drinking. We have our beer bottle with our little bit of stuff left in the bottom, our yeast cake. Ew. We have our perfectly poured beer with lots of awesome head. And yeah, and it's a sunny day. So cheers. Here's to you. That's how you enjoy homebrew. Thanks for watching. LULZ and BREWS! Welcome to LULZ and BREWS! And on this episode, damn it. Welcome to LULZ and BREWS! And on this episode, how to pour a bottled conditioned beer. Welcome to LULZ and BREWS! And on this